What's up, you guys? I can see that the mood is how it should feel after another Bears loss. I don't even know where to start with
Carm
this.
is happy because Bagent played. He feels it's
Just-
like a W.
Just stop. Nick, I'm nauseous like everybody else on set, but unlike some people here who just want to completely make it out like Bayesian is horrible, I am not doing that. But I don't know who you talked to either yet, Nick. So did you what stood out number one?
Yeah, here. Okay, let's start with Bagent here. And he was sitting at his locker, kind of drinking some energy, just some drinks to refuel after playing in this game. But you can just tell, despite the loss, despite the two turnovers that he had, the respect that he does have in this locker room to not just off his offensive teammates, but the defensive guys. He was sitting at his locker, and Dominic Robinson comes up to him, just dabs him up. He's like, "Good shit, 17." As we're kind of interviewing Cole Kmet, all you hear is like, "Yo, 17, you did your thing out there." That was Jaquan Brisker. I was speaking to Larry Borum, and I'm like, what's kind of the mindset when a guy like Tyson Bagent, who hasn't obviously played in a regular season football game, goes in there? He's like, well, he's a great player. We just need to do more stuff to make sure he can execute the game plan that we have in place. So even though the Bears obviously couldn't, get the victory today, there is a good amount of respect for Tyson Bagent and what he's been able to do. And I think it's because of what he's already accomplished being on an NFL roster. But there is that Mark that this team they respect Tyson Bagent. They publicly are saying that they believe in him. But obviously, when you look on the football field, I don't think it mattered who was playing quarterback today, guys. They didn't have an answer for the blitz, and that was kind of what I wanted to figure out from just talking to some of the players, like asking Larry Borum. I asked him what you saw on tape preparing for this game. Was it what played out on the field? And essentially, Larry was like, "It's what we expected." Sometimes they brought the pressure, sometimes they backed off. It was like a chess match, but they said that they were prepared for what they game planned for. They just didn't. And the term that Matt Eberflus, every person the Bears love to use, is they didn't execute right. Even Cole Kmet, I got the chance to talk to him and ask him about what about the execution wasn't working well. You guys talk about the execution not being where it needed to be. And he just went through a list of things like the timing, knowing who to go to on hot routes, the depth of routes. He mentioned that they could be better up front, but it was just a conglomerate of things that Cole Kmet's word that he used that kind of didn't allow them to execute to the best of their ability against this Vikings blitz attack that, it started from the very first play of the game, you guys, where the Bears have 5, the Vikings bring 6, Fields is sacked in the very first play of the game. So it was just something that, Eberflus said they prepared for it, but clearly they just didn't execute to the best of their ability and ultimately couldn't handle what the Vikings were bringing.
Nick, what I mean, we've been talking a lot about the center situation, and the switch they made, the snaps being bad by both centers. Anything that you got from the locker room or from Eberflus on that?
Yeah, Matt Eberflus said the reason for the center change, you guys, it was best for the team for the guy who had played the most center. So that's why they wanted Lucas Patrick to eventually go in there, especially with Tyson Bagent.
Do you buy
How
that? Do you buy that,
I don't,
or do you think he
I
got
don't,
benched?
when I'm watching it out here, from how high those snaps are, they're throwing off the timing. To me, it looked like a benching. But here, Eberflus also said this: thought it would settle Bagent down a little bit. And then Bagent was asked about the center change, and first he was asked throughout the week, who are you even getting snaps from? And Bagent was saying that he snaps with they mix it up a little bit, but on scout team reps, he's not taking snaps with either of those guys. So it's like they mix it up, but you're also not taking snaps with those guys. Maybe there's some truth and some lie into what Bagent's saying. But look, those snapping that when you have that high snap, there are times where Fields just had to take off because the timing's off. He has to go, and obviously both centers were having issues with it. I don't know about you guys, but did you see the center for Minnesota have any issues with snapping at all? Maybe they did it at some point, but I didn't see it to the extent that happened with the Bears centers today.
Well, to me, that's the answer. He's saying bringing in, the backup is going to help settle him down a bit. But when you ask Bagent who he snapped the ball from this week, it wasn't either. So he's saying the reason he's going to be settled down is because Cody Whitehair couldn't snap the ball cleanly.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, did Cody Whitehair talk after the game?
He was not anywhere to be found in the locker room, you guys. Ooh, lights go off.
Nick,
Well, that's interesting. 'Cause that's a guy who's usually always there.
that is interesting.
Wow.
Nick, what happened? Do you have any understanding of what happened on the interception that Bagent threw late in the game?
Yeah, so Bagent was just saying that was on him, you guys. He said he just, you have a guy like DJ Moore, called him one of the best wide receivers in the game. You have him one-on-one, you got to give him a chance, but he just underthrew the ball. And Bagent was asked, did the pressure on that play have any effect on you underthrowing the football? And he didn't give that any credence. So he just said he simply underthrew him, trying to make a play, but that's something that he'll look at on the tape and hopefully try to correct that wrong moving forward.
There's your answer, Carm.
He underthrew him by 30 yards.
Carm-
That's not good.
Carm's been living in a fantasy world where that ball got tipped.
I was seeing that from Bears fans too, and I mean, again, it happened split, second, and trying to see the replay too. But I don't think it was tipped, but he just said he underthrew it.
I think he short-armed the throw a little bit because that guy was about to pop him, is what I think. You just don't – either you don't reach back or you don't follow through as much. You just don't get as much on it, and that's probably what it is.
Or he can't get it there.
It would have been a real twist if Bagent was like, they changed centers on me and the snap was high and it screwed everything up. So, it's
We do have the audio of Bagent talking about his interception. If you want to play that, we could play
Sure,
that.
let's hear it.
Do you want to hear that?
Okay. Why don't we do that after, Nick?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we could do that too. Probably makes more sense.
Yeah, Nick, what else from the locker room you want to share with us?
I thought there was something interesting from DJ Moore, you guys. He was asked about why the offense was so out of sync in the first half, and I don't know if you guys played this at all, but he mentioned like all the different looks, the pressures, everything that was going at the offense, but hard to kind of game plan for when they're doing different things, and they just ran them differently. But when you watch the product on the football field, it just didn't seem like the Bears were prepared for the Vikings to make changes to their defense a little bit. Yes, they were going to bring blitzes, but did they not account for the Vikings to kind of make slight adjustments from where exactly the blitz is coming from on a certain play? They'll show something against Kansas City one week, who the Vikings played last week, but they don't have to necessarily do the same thing. It seemed odd that the Bears said they were prepared for the blitz. Again, going back to how I started this call with you guys, but yet that was a team that was not prepared for anything the Vikings are doing defensively. It was such a night and day difference from Commanders, the first half offensively, what they did there on Thursday night, to what they did in this entire game against the Minnesota Vikings. So it was just interesting to hear that all the players will say that they were prepared and that they just did different things on the field for the Vikings, but there wasn't really anything to combat those changes that the Vikings made.
All right, Nick, appreciate it. And, get home safely. Don't know what else to say, man.
Triple tech. Justin did not talk, right?
He did not. Nope. He was nowhere to be found in the locker room. I did see Nate Davis leave on a cart. His right foot was in a boot, so there's that. He never made it into the locker room, but he was like in the hallway down underneath Soldier Field on a cart in a boot. So things keep getting better for the Bears.
Another injury that I believe could have been avoided if the ball had been out sooner.
Did you happen to find Justin Fields' X-rays, walking around the building?
I did not, you guys. So I will. I'll go back to the bowels of Soldier Field, see what I can find.
Go find those.
All right, Nick. Thanks, man.
All right, you guys.
There's Nicholas Moreano. Follow him on Twitter at Nicholas Moreano and read all of his work from Soldier Field at ALLCITY.com.
We all silly like the mayor.